Hey folks, hope you are enjoying my tech podcasts. And today we have another pro person in open source domain. So she is Akanksha Rani, and we'll be having a lot of chats with her regarding LFX mentorship. So yeah, let's get started.
ट्रिक है। एक तो लाइक और शेयर ठोक दीजिए महाकाल का दबा के लाइक और शेयर ठोक दीजिए। 5,000 लौटे दिख जाना चाहिए। ये 4,000 के लिए मैं यहाँ पे नहीं खड़ा हूँ। पूरा साल मेहनत करता हूँ आपके लिए बेटा। ऐसा नहीं चलेगा, ऐसा नहीं चलेगा। लाइक ठोकी दबा के।
Hi Akanksha, welcome to my podcast episode. Hope you are having a great new year.
Hi, Sajan. Yeah, Happy New Year to you as well and everyone watching. I hope you also had a very good New Year.
Yeah, okay. So would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, sure. So, hello everyone. Myself, Akanksha, and I'm currently a pre-final year student at Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University for women, and I'm currently pursuing a BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering with specialization in artificial intelligence. And I'm an upcoming software engineering intern at Microsoft, and I have been a LFX mentee in 2023, and it was a 6 months internship, and I've gained a lot of open source exposure because of that, and that's what our podcast today is all about. Within that, I'm a very huge AI and ML enthusiast. I have written a lot of papers in there in ML, and I've really enjoyed my ML journey throughout my uh, college and throughout my internship journey as well.
Well, that was a great introduction for a third year straight to the agenda. The audience would like to know what exactly is LFX mentorship.
Okay. So LFX mentorship is basically an open source program, just like we have GSOC, just like we have Outreach, MLH, and all these programs are there, and people know about it. But LFX is one of the program which is not as much as known. It is not very famous, not very
Yeah.
popular, but yeah, open source people do know about it. Like we have a lot of influencers like Kunal Kushwaha and other people who are promoting LFX and all, but still a lot of people don't know about it. And LFX is basically and program is a program which is introduced by Linux Foundation. Linux is our, everyone knows about Linux. It's an operating system and it's very famous in corporate world. It's used extensively, right? So it's Linux Foundation is a organization basically which is introduced by Linux, and under which we have a lot of partner organization which are responsible for open source, which to create open source environment and provide student with open source experiences. And I'll tell more about the organization later on, but yeah, that's all about Linux Foundation.
When I was applying for this LFX mentorship, I also heard about some other mentorships like LFN and CNCF. But when I went to their web pages, they all finished at the same website. So what's the mystery behind this actually?
Mhm. Okay, so yeah, that is a problem that every first time beginner, faces when they first come to the LFX mentorship site. So what happens is LFX is the mother organization of lot of organizations, right? So the program, the organization which I contributed to was Hyperledger. Hyperledger is a blockchain-based organization under LFX. Just like that, we have many other organizations, just like CNCF, which is one of the most popular organization of LFX. CNCF stands for Cloud Native Computing Foundation. It is one of the organization which fosters cloud environment and give exposure to cloud enthusiasts. And Hyperledger is one for blockchain. Like just like that, we have OpenFrame, we have Intel also, and there are a lot of organization in there which are in Linux terminal, and like lot of them which are there under Linux Foundation. So basically, Linux Foundation is the mother organization of all these organizations which work under them. And we apply when we go to the site, we see projects from all these organizations. They're mixed together, so that a person who is visiting the site for the first time, he or she gets to know about all the programs and all the projects and all the organization all together. He does not need to go separately to another site for another organization. That's the thing.
So I hope the audience has got the point clear. Like it's a roof. The LFX is a roof and all the other organizations, Hyperledger, CNCF, are like children under
Mhm.
that roof, and all the projects are systematically listed at one place. You don't have to go here and there for that.
Mhm.
Coming to the
Okay,
next
so
question, what
True.
is the eligibility criteria for this
Mm.
LFX mentorship?
Mm. Okay, so one of the best things that I like about LFX is the eligibility criteria is not limited. Even a first year student, even a second year student, and even a graduate or a working professional can also, take participate in the LFX journey. So it's not something like that if you are in, first year, so you won't get in. It's not like that. They just see the skills that you are proficient in, and based on that, you are eligible for other, like for detailed eligibility criteria, like for the age range and all. You can definitely check out the site in the resources I will provide you, and you can find them in the description, and that would be more convenient for you.
Yeah, okay. And also that means like some person who has some gap in his career can be a part of this LFX
Mhm.
mentorship and actually
Mhm.
get the experience when he or she is not actually working for some corporate company.
Yeah, that is one of the major things that, you just wake up tomorrow after an year and you can apply in LFX. That's the thing. You do not need to, be a very, it's very user friendly. It's for, people who are new to open source,
Mm.
who have just got some trigger in their open source journey, and they want to start in something new. Definitely they are proficient in technologies, but for, getting into open source, LFX is one of the best programs because it does not limit you to, like, that you have to be a pro person, you have to be a, expert in that field. You can just be a beginner. Just that make sure the technologies you are, applying to is good enough for that project.
Okay. One more question that audience would be having, like, what's the difference and similarities with GSOC, which is the most overhyped this opportunity in open source?
Yeah. So, yeah, I really like this question because I myself have contributed to GSOC. This is like 2023 only. I was not selected though. So in GSOC, basically, the things are, application process is different, definitely. Just that, when I contributed to GSOC, I realized a lot of stuff that, the environment there is a bit difficult, and it is bit difficult to get in there. Right.
Mm.
But in LFX, everything is very user friendly. Like, if I'm a beginner, I can understand the process very well, just that I need the right person to guide me. You have to talk to some people who have been part of LFX, then it will be very easy for you. But when I contributed to GSOC, I contributed in a very big organization known as TensorFlow, and ML people must be knowing about it. So it had a lot of projects in there, and there are a lot of things that happen in GSOC, that projects get cancelled out if the mentor is not
Mm.
there and all this stuff. So I myself have faced this problem, so I can understand the problems that, as a GSOC contributor, that they had. And when you compare them, it is very in that perspective, LFX is very better, good. In application perspective, in GSOC, you just have to write one proposal based on your past contributions and, your plan and all. But
Mm.
in LFX, you do not need to give a weekly plan. That's not the thing.
Okay.
You have to write a cover letter. Cover letter is very important, because based on that only you are judged. And there are some essay questions which are also very important along with the resume. So three major things are there in LFX: resume, cover letter, and the essays. Based on these three factors, people are selected in LFX, and in GSOC, you just need to provide your, proposal. Based on that, you are selected. So that is one more difference. And the third difference is, in GSOC, we have a diverse range of organization which are part of GSOC. But in
Mm.
LFX, we have, a set of organization which are always there, and like, which take part, even though they're adding a lot of organization year by year. But the limit is not as like, the variety is not as GSOC.
Mm.
There is a limit in there, so that is the
Yeah.
third difference. And most of the things, as an open source contributor, I find it very similar, that you have to contribute to the repo and all, if you're contributing to a code project. And one more thing is there, that in LFX you have non-code projects as well. Not everything is technical. In GSOC, we have very less non-tech projects
Mm-hmm.
as compared to LFX. That is the one more difference. And yeah, that's all I can remember for now.
And
okay.
the most awaited question, what is the stipend that people get in this mentorship program?
Yeah, so definitely everything comes to money in there, right? So, in GSOC, we have, the range is from around 3,000 to 6,000. In India, it's around 2,000 something. But in LFX also, there is a range that depends on country. So, for India, it is $3,000 for either,
Okay.
for if you choose to part-time. Oh, I forgot to mention that earlier. So, basically, in LFX, we have one more option that is not there in GSOC. We have one part-time internship that is for 6 months and one full-time internship that is for 3 months. Stipend is same, just that the
Mhm.
workload will be very easier for you to manage with college. So that option is not there in GSOC. So in
Mhm.
LFX, we have two kinds of program, that is part-time and full-time. In part-time, we have 3 months of whole cohort, and in full-time,
Mhm.
we have 6 months of cohort. So the stipend is based on your, whether it's 6 months or 3 months, the stipend is same. That is $3,000 for India, but for other countries it goes up to $6,600.
Okay.
So that's the stipend range, $3,000 to $6,600 according to the country PPP. Yeah.
Okay. And coming to the most important part of this video, the future aspirants would be waiting for this. So let's start up talking about the application process, how one should apply, and what's the entire process behind this.
Mm. Sure. So the whole application process is not very, difficult, just that you have to go along with it. You cannot leave in between. Right? A
Mm.
lot of people, they just, take some break when they are into open source. But if you want to get into the program, you just have to be very active, right, throughout.
Yeah.
So the first step is you have to go to the LFX mentorship site. You have to invest a lot of time in finding organization and project, like not organization, I would say, because in LFX all the organization are mixed in there, right? It's
Hmm.
not like one organization is there, so everything is mixed in there. So you basically have to find the right project. You
Project.
should not care about whether what is the organization if the project matches your stack. Like I am a front end developer and my tech stack
Mm.
is React JS, HTML, CSS. If I find a project that fits in there, and no matter of which organization it is, you should go and apply, right? So you'll find the organization. First step is that. Then after that, you have maximum three proposals to offer, right? You can only write up to three proposals. More than that, you cannot apply to. And
Okay.
they can be of any organization, not limited to one organization, right? So you can apply in one CNCF, one Hyperledger, one OpenFrame. It depends on you. Just that only three projects. So this happens. Then, once you are enrolled in the program, then you are assigned with some tasks. So tasks means like basically uploading all the stuff that I told: resume, essay, and
Mm-hmm.
cover letter.
Cover.
Those are the tasks. Yeah. So in that, first of all, your resume is there, right? And in resume, what you have to do is you have to prepare a resume with very good template. That is very important, because
Yeah.
my resume was very good. So I feel that that is also one of the factors that I got in, because my resume had stuff that is very important and shows my capability.
Relevant to
So
this
make sure
opportunity.
that you have yeah. So make sure that you have a very good resume with technical experiences or technical projects based on the project you're applying to.
Mm.
And this is a very important line. You should, I'll repeat that again. Your resume should have technical experiences or technical projects that are in the domain of the project you are applying to. That is very important.
Right.
Why? Because if someone sees your resume and like I'm a mentor of that project and I see that,
Mm.
so definitely I'll feel that you are more experienced than someone who has no experience in that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that is the stuff. And we have, essays are very important. Essay play a very major role in that, because essay has 2 to 3 questions, and they are not very difficult, right? They're not very difficult, just that your way of answering is like, if you answer it and just brag about things that you haven't done in life, definitely
Mm-hmm.
they get to know about it. Do not go chat gpt, that I would say, definitely, because at my time I did not have chat gpt, right?
Right.
When I applied to. So that was also a thing. So I had ChatGPT, I'm sorry, but I did not use that much. It was just introduced in there. So
Okay.
not very proficient. So I did not use it. So I wrote it myself. So that was a thing. So do not use ChatGPT. Write true things and true experiences in the essays. You can even get the essays reviewed by LFX mentees, past mentees, and if a mentor reviews it, that's also very good. But it's like not really possible, because usually
Hmm.
mentors are they
They have
refuse to
time
do that because
constraints.
they might, yeah. So that's the thing. So you can get it reviewed from past mentees. Like I'm a past mentee now. You can get it reviewed from me, or you can just search up LinkedIn and you can just send them, and they definitely will help you out. Okay. So you can get the essays reviewed, even the cover letter. So the main part comes to the cover letter. So cover letter is very important, because cover letter, you have to mention all the things that you have done till now, right? So and that is related to the project, right? You'll give 2 to 3 lines which are introduction to yourself, right?
Hmm.
After that, you'll tell about the technical experiences and technical work that you have done in that domain, in the project you're applying to, right? If the project has front end thing, mention about some major project that you have done in there, in that domain,
Hmm.
or something that is extraordinary, not a normal thing, right? So mention
Hmm.
about everything, and that's one page thing, so you have to be very wise while writing it. And now coming to one of the key factors that decide your selection is, your past open source experience also. So what happened is, I didn't know about it because I did not get my essay reviewed. Just that I felt that I should show up my past GitHub contributions. So what I did was
Hmm.
I added some of my PRs, past PRs, like
Okay.
which were in the same technical domain, in open source
Hmm.
contribution only. So I just added the links of those PRs, so that it shows the proof that I have been an active open source contributor beforehand too. So
Hmm.
that's the thing you can do in the cover letter for code, especially for the code based projects. You should do that, and for the documentation based projects, because I had applied to one. For that, you can
Okay.
add research papers if you have written. That
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
also
Hmm. Got
one
it.
of the things that decide. So research papers, why I said, because research paper, in my case, my research papers played a very important role, because my interviewer asked about it. Like, wow, like she said that, you've published in IEEE. That's a very big thing. So
Hmm.
if I'm applying to a documentation based project, they look up to technical writing, right? So technical
Hmm.
writing involves writing research papers, writing technical blogs, all these stuff. So add links of your blogs, technical or technical papers, and anything that is related to that project, right? So do not make sure that do not write something that is irrelevant to the project you're applying to. Make sure that you limit yourself to the project. Do mention your like extraordinary experiences, extraordinary achievements as well, but do not use a lot of space in there for that, right? Because the interviewer needs to see that if you are good enough for that, like their project or not. So that's the thing that
Hmm.
you should keep in mind. And other than that, there might be some of the points that, once you write the essay, after that, the and if you get it reviewed, the person who is reviewing, he or she will also tell you about few things that he or she will interpret from your cover letter. Yeah.
And one question I forgot to ask, like how many times this opportunity opens up in an year?
So basically, it goes on throughout the year, I would say. Just
Okay.
that the program matters. Like, so, like there's a term for every, like there are basically 2 terms
Okay.
for 6 month internship, right? One will open right now, like from 15 July, 15 January, the application would be open for the first term, right? And the second term is in June or July. That's the time period. So for part-time internship, 6 month internship, these are the terms. Other than that, some of the organization who do full time internships, so they take up to 3 months. Like it can be September to November, it can be January to March, it can be any 3 months, right? So
Hmm.
that you have to check up on the site. Like if you go on the LFX site, you will see that it's mentioned, the term is mentioned in there. So everything
Okay.
depends on you, like in which time you're comfortable. It's not like all other open source program open in summer vacations only. If you have seen like the major ones,
Hmm.
GSOC, Outreachy, MLH, most of them are in the spring, after we like our summer vacation period. But
So,
LFX is not constrained to that. It has its own terms, it has its own range. So that depends on your availability, your flexibility.
okay. So after submitting the cover letter, how much time does it take for the interview calls or emails to come? And what's the depth up to which the interviewer asks about your technical aspects or
Talking
knowledge?
about the interview process. So, you have to be very patient throughout the LFX journey because I was very panicked also because, it takes time. It's not like interview call will come next day. Like it can be at the last day. Like there is a time limit of 15 days for the interview calls.
Okay,
Like I remember my timeline. So my interview that like my application deadline was 15th of July, and after that the 15 days 15th of June, I'm sorry, and 15 days were for the interview calls. Like from 15 July to 30th June, 15th June to 30th June, we'll get the interview calls. So I waited and waited for a very long time. Then I get around 10 days later, I got, the message from my mentor through LinkedIn. Sometimes it's not
okay,
even the mail. So that you
okay.
should be very active person, right? Many people
Hmm.
don't check LinkedIn. That's why, I am checking LinkedIn every moment. Like you
Okay.
also saw me, like, I just checked my LinkedIn. So that's why you should be very active on your LinkedIn because
Hmm.
sometimes mentor approaches you there. So she just sent me the timeline and the calendar in there.
Okay.
So that's the thing. And sometimes it might happen that you don't get a call to, like, if you're not
Okay. Okay.
shortlisted, you won't get call. And sometimes it might happen that you'll get selected without the interview. So
Okay.
it
So
happens. It
anything
happens.
can be the
So
case.
yeah, but like it's not like that you'll get selected randomly. You
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'll just tell you the why is it like that. So basically LFX also has a contribution, like, there is a time, like in GSOC we have this contribution period, but in LFX
Okay.
we have this, 1 month of calls, right? In 1 month of calls is there before the application deadline, right? Around
Okay.
1 or 1.5 months of calls, regular calls are there. So these calls are very important. Why? Because you'll get to know about project more. You'll get to
Hmm.
know about the environment of the projects, all these stuffs, you get to know through these calls, right? So as I said, that mentor can approach you at any, social platform. So be active on your LinkedIn, on your mails, on your, any social account that you had given at the time of your application.
Hmm.
So after that, you'll join, in the interview thing. Basically, in my interview, what happened is, because I was already joining in the call. So in the LFX site only, we have this calendar mentioned. If you go to the site, you'll see there is, and it's open. It's not limited that anyone, like, anyone can attend those calls. That's the thing in there.
Okay. Right.
So it takes place every week, like once, like one day every week, and you can join
Hmm.
in calls of your, of the preferred project, and it's like calls of the project that are open now. Like for example, at my
Okay.
time, my project was Hyperledger onboarding,
Hmm.
and there
Hmm.
was one more project, Hyperledger documentation. So I had contributed to two projects altogether. I got selected in one, right? Even though
Okay.
the project I actually contributed the most in, I was not selected in there. I was selected in the second one,
Okay.
which I had contributed, but not as much as I did in my first project. So what happened in there, that you'll apply to the uh, portal first step, then you'll go to the interview uh,
Hmm.
side, and then in the interview, when the interview takes place, everything is normal because if you're already a part of the call, so the interviewer
Hmm.
knows you. And basically
Right.
these
Right.
interviewers are your mentors, right?
Okay.
These interviewers are mentors, and there can be a panel too, not
Okay.
only mentors. So it depends on the LFX, on them
Hmm.
only, like who will sit on the interview. So it can be anyone. So what happens is that they will ask you, firstly they'll just ask the introduction, and then since if they're already knowing you through the calls, then it will be an
Hmm.
edge for you. So that's why
Right.
you should definitely go and check the calendar. I'll share the link of that as well. And because it opens up once the projects are live. So right now the calendar for 2024 is not there. It will come on
Okay.
15 January.
Okay.
So
Okay.
on the so yeah, then you can check it out. So after after that, what happens is they will talk about your resume. Definitely, they'll see the
Hmm.
your experiences and all. They'll ask about your projects. If you have done any publications and you have applied to a documentation project, then they'll see that you have technical writing experience. If you have applied to some some front end thing, and they see that you have some front end experience prior, so they'll
Hmm.
definitely uh, be impressed with your resume. Now comes your cover letter. So they read your cover letter definitely, and they know about you, right, with your cover letter. So based on that, they can ask you a lot of questions. And other than that, if you have done a previous contribution to that project, so
Hmm.
that would be a very like it will be the most like
It will be
best thing
cherry
for
on the
you,
cake,
because you
actually.
have it will be exactly so, because they would love someone who already knows about the project, not someone who is new to the project. So
Right.
make sure that once the application opens, you join in all these calls of the projects that interests you, so that you
Hmm.
can make a good bond with the mentor, right? So
Hmm.
about the calls, you can even talk to and yeah, you should definitely approach the mentors as well, right? So once the
Okay.
projects are live, their mentors are mentioned on the site with their profiles, like with their LinkedIn profiles, their email and all,
Hmm.
everything is there. Do not spam in there, just write a very
Yeah.
small decent message, and do
Hmm.
not write their sir or ma'am. That is prohibited in open source. Okay, so make sure you
Yeah.
do not do that mistake, because in open source, we like or even in corporate world, we do not
Hmm.
mention a lot with sir and ma'am. So just write, like,
Yeah.
for example, my mentor was John. You'll just write John, hey John. Then you write that I am very interested in the project you are mentoring to, and I have these technical skills beforehand, and I would like to join, like know more about it and learn from you. So if you can tell me more, like how can I contribute to this project, that would be very grateful for you. Like that, write
Hmm.
a decent message and just send them over their emails or LinkedIn. Most of them definitely replies off, and if they do not, just wait for some time. They do, most of the time they
Okay.
do. Okay, so that's the thing for the mentors and interview thing. And yeah, that's all about interview process.
So basically, what I can understand is, unlike other opportunities where participants actually find very hard to communicate with mentors and get known to them,
Mhm.
here you have a different kind of scenario. Like you have the weekly meetups, and that actually can help you establish a very good relation with the mentor and frequently communicate, and that can give you a head start in your contributions in any kind of the project which is mentioned on the website.
Mm.
So that is a kind of hack only. So coming to the next question. So would you like to mention about what were your contributions and what was the main tech stack and agenda of your project?
Yeah. So my project, I contributed into three projects, like, because you can
Okay.
apply to three, right? And
Hmm.
majorly I contributed to two projects. One
Okay.
was Hyperledger documentation standards, which was
Hmm.
more based on technical writing and research work on that. Second was Hyperledger on mentor mentee onboarding program, which was based on front end, UI UX, Golang, and Markdown. All these languages were there, in like out of which I was only proficient in front end, like very good in that, right? Golang was new for me. Markdown was also new for me, just that I had an idea about it because I am a very active GitHub user, very, so I know a new bit about
Hmm.
it, but I learned about Markdown after getting into the project. So that's what I said. You do not need to be have a pro person for
Hmm.
applying to. Just that if you have experiences even in any one of the skill, and your experience is good enough, like I had made projects in front end, so that's enough for you to go. And I applied to documentation standards because I had experience in publishing papers. So I have published two papers in IEEE, so I had very good experience in there, so that's why I also applied in there. So in these two projects I applied, and third was Bevel. Hyperledger Bevel is one of the very famous projects of Hyperledger. But in that, I did not do a lot of contribution because I was already summed up with two of them, right? It was like a lot
Okay.
for me. So just I applied in there, so that you never know what hits up the chance. So
Hmm.
that's how you did that. So in the project I was selected in was Hyperledger mentor mentee onboarding program. The main aim of my project was I have to create SEO friendly frameworks. I have to create a user friendly interface for for the very good user experience, and I have to make it easier for the people who are coming for the first time in Hyperledger, like whether they are contributors, maintainers, enterprises, or
Mm-hmm.
business persons, right? They should get a very easy access to all the resources, all the tutorials, or all the info like important material throughout
Right.
the their experience, like first time experienced on the Hyperledger side, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that was the thing. And my main contributions were in three parts majorly. First thing that I did was I did extensive research on the most popular Hyperledger YouTube videos in
Okay.
past 4 years, because I had to add, like I have to integrate them into the Hyperledger main website. So that part I
Okay.
was responsible for. If you can even check out my work and check out the spreadsheet that I have made, research like there is a whole research sheet in there. In that I have
Okay.
like separated and made a different parts for every year, and I have like rated everything, like which one is more popular with most popular views and what is the relevant stuff in there. So all these research work was there, and I, like after research work, I integrated them through Markdown and Golang. I use these languages and I integrated them in the Hyperledger site. After that, the second thing I worked upon was the basic graphic user interface. So I
Mm.
had worked with Ben, and like Ben was basically responsible for the website, like front end part of the new Hyperledger website. So Hyperledger has updated like 3 to 4 months back. New website is updated in there. So I was working with them for the new design, for giving and for the suggestions and all, and giving my this design. I made a Figma design of whole website and everything. I learned more about UI UX. I learned using Figma properly, because I just had an idea earlier, but I got with my with the guidance of my mentors, I learned a lot of stuff and I made that. After that, the
Mm.
third thing that I work upon, I separated the people who are coming to Hyperledger sites into three personas. That was business persons, maintainer, contributors, and enterprises. So for
Okay.
these three personas, I had done a lot of research so that I can add the relevant materials, add the relevant resources, add the relevant tutorials of these three personas in the Hyperledger website, so that if some person from that particular persona comes up, so it is very easier for him or her to locate and get to the right place and learn more about it.
Mm.
Okay. So that was the thing that I did. Other than that, I have learned a lot of extra skills, like a lot of them. Like I learned about Google Analytics, I learned about frameworks, I learned about there were some like deep stuff in research also that I did not had idea about. So my mentors were very helpful. Like they told me about, because some like many like two of them were like professionals in some very big companies. One of them was
Okay.
final year student only, but he was from India, and two were from international mentors. So like the mix of their skills and their
Mm.
experiences had helped me throughout my journey. So this was the work that I did.
Okay. And coming to the last question related to your mentorship journey, what changes actually it has brought both in your technical knowledge and in your personality development?
There is a lot that I have to tell you on that, because because I had been experienced in technical aspect. I was an open source contributor. Like I had contributed and mentored in programs like Girls Hip Summer of Code, and then I had contributed to GSOC. Then I had contributed to Hacktoberfest. I have also been a maintainer and event organizer there. So I had idea about open source, but that was a very was at very small level. So that's what,
Mm.
but that was the reason that triggered inside me. Like that was the reason which triggered the feeling inside me that I should go for bigger programs like LFX, like GSOC, like Outreachy. So that was there's always a trigger in there. So that was the thing, because I already had some experience. I felt like, yeah, definitely I should go for a very bigger program. So once I got in LFX, my exposure was the first and the best thing that I got through LFX. The international exposure, like it is very, very
Right.
much beneficial for a person who is in
Mm.
technical field, because you get to know about how people work outside your country, right? When I
Mm-hmm.
worked in their timeline, in the mountain timeline or in the Eastern timeline, right? Then I understood like how people work in there, how people understand you, and there is a very good understanding that is created between you and the people living outside, because
Mm.
it's not just when you work with people in your own country, they understand a lot of like, yeah, it's night time, so they understand कि रात है, तो you won't disturb. But when
Right.
I worked like people outside the world, they also tried to collaborate with me and help me throughout my they understood that I'm having time clashes. So that
Mm.
teamwork, that understandability, and that was the thing that I got in there. The very good peer network was also a factor. I get a very global,
Mm-hmm.
because only 10, like 15 to 20 people are selected every year in LFX also, like for one cohort. Only 15 to
Okay.
20 people are selected, right? For one term, only these people are selected. So meeting people from throughout the world was very good experience. Like it was virtual, because of obviously open source is all about
Mm-hmm.
virtual stuff. So but that is also a very big thing for me. Other than that, my confidence, like my public speaking skills, my communication skills, my my uh, confidence to speak
Mm.
wherever, like anywhere, like whether it's an international platform or whether it's a national platform, that also improvised throughout my LFX journey. So that was another thing that I learned through. And the last part, I gained a lot of skills, like a lot of languages, a lot of technical stuff that I did not ever expected that I would understand. Like Google Analytics is something that people do course upon, and I just understood with 1 to 2 calls with my mentor. So that was the thing, you get to know
Mm.
skills in a very faster way with your mentors, because when you take up a course, it takes a lot time, but when you do practical
Mm.
application, right, of that thing, you understand stuff better. So that was also
Right.
a thing. So all these things were my learnings from
So the
LFX.
last question of this episode. How has your works in the research field and this LFX mentorship or any other open source contributions have actually helped you in Microsoft's interview?
Yeah, not just interview, even in my other rounds as well, it has helped. So yeah. So as I said, that resume is a very important factor in getting into like not only in an open source internship, but when you go
Mm.
to an IT or MNC, right? So they a resume, everyone knows that how important resume,
Basically, resume
like it, the role
speaks
of
about
resume,
yourself at some place. It puts an image to the recruiter.
right? Resume is the first round of most of the companies, that if you're not with a good resume, you get out, even though you are a CP pro, even though you are a like pro person in every coding language, does not matter if you
Mm.
don't have a good resume, right?
Right.
So like in my resume, the things that I actually feel that have helped me to gain an internship in such a big MNC was my past experience in LFX, of course, because they saw that I have some technical experience in some very big organization. Definitely, Linux is a very big organization. So that thing
Mm.
matters, right? Not only Linux, but if you have experiences in any past organization which is, reputed, so it definitely plays an important role, because they see that this person has some experience in such a big firm that, like, then definitely they will be a boon to our organization. So that's the thing that have helped me throughout. Now talking about technical skills, so while doing research work, because I am a research enthusiast, I'm a
Mm.
completely ML person, to be honest. I was also planning to not go into software engineering, but since I did DSA, so I was like, I can do that along with. So yeah, I got in
Mm.
an software engineering internship, right? So what happened is, so I managed both of the things along with. So for the project part, I made most of the project in ML, like my, and in my interview also in Microsoft, I was asked on the questions based on my ML and research work that I did, based on the algorithms. Like they deeply asked, not like
Okay.
ऊपर ऊपर से नहीं पूछते.
Okay.
They ask you deeply in your, like, deep, they go in deep, especially ML projects. They love ML projects,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest. The MNCs love ML projects, and that I got from my experience, whether it's Google, Microsoft, Adobe, or any big MNC,
Mm.
right? So they like ask questions based on my algorithms I have used, and they went through it. After that, they saw my publications, of course, like research work that I've
Hmm.
published. That if you have research work published, it shows that you are an author of something that is online already. People are
Hmm.
reading your work online, right? So it gives you your own identity in the whole online world. So that's the factor that helps me, that helped me in getting internship. That is also there. And other than that, my co-curricular activities were also there, right? I have been a founder of an AI based startup, and I like since past 4 to 5 years it is. So that was very important for me, because in my HR round my questions were mostly based upon that. So make
Hmm.
sure that if you have mentioned something in your resume, you're ready to answer 40 to 45 minutes for that
Hmm.
single
Right.
line, because that has happened with me. So do not mention any single thing in your resume, right,
Hmm.
which has anything other than your own, like your field. Like, do not fake anything. That I
Right.
would say. So yeah, that was all about my getting internship into Microsoft.
Okay, so thanks, Akanksha. That was all. I have learned a lot of things, and I hope the audience would have also learned. Thanks, Akanksha. Thanks for coming. Yeah, that was all, guys.
Okay, thank you so much, Srijan, and I hope everyone learned from whatever I said today. And in case anyone has any doubt, they can ping me on LinkedIn. I will share all the resources with Srijan to put in the description. You can
Yeah.
get the links of all the application, all the calendars and everything, and even my blog is there, so it will help you
Hmm.
to apply to the program. I have written a blog in there, and I'll also put the description of the link in the description. And
Hmm.
in case if you feel that you have any more doubt, you can anytime ping me on LinkedIn. I'm a very active LinkedIn user, so I won't disappoint you there. So yeah, thank you so much, Srijan, for hosting me. That it was a very great, it was a great session, and talking to you. I hope everyone enjoyed the session.
Okay, thanks, guys. Bye. Signing off.
Bye.